off. You will need to switch on.
No, it's already recording. That's what it says. I'll just check it. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's on. So let's start off without further ado. And as Sir said, if you have to learn vocabulary or teach vocabulary to a small child, you have to make it interesting for the child. So that's what is my purpose with you today, to make it interesting for you in the form of a quiz. And so that is no longer a boring, list that you have in front of me, in front of you rather. Sadly, I could not create the poll feature in today's session and a leaderboard so that I could, get all your marks and create the excitement. That we will plan for the next day. I assume that it's already there, but it just could not be integrated. So that I'll plan for the next time. This time you will be good children and, mark your own scores and keep a track of how many marks you're getting. And we will discuss that at the end of the session. So 1 hour short session we have, and let us immediately start. So yes, good morning everyone, and good morning Akshay, Palak, Raga, Swati, Kunal, everybody, all of those who are here today in the session. Chalo fir, let us start off. So you're all ready? Yes. So what the format is basically that, yes, Aditya, Parijat, yes, good morning. So the format is going to be that I'm going to show you a word, and you'll either have to, so there'll be options. I've been kinder today and created options. So you have to be, finding either the synonym or the antonym, or which is not a synonym, which is not an antonym, so directions likha rahega. And of course, I'll explain the question also. One liner rahega with 4 options. So that is what it is. Once you have, decided what the are, so I'll give you around 30 seconds to think. See, vocab mein hai ki either you know it or you don't know it, hai na? So, aata hai to then, you mark your answer, and then we'll discuss the meanings of all the 4 options and move on to the next question. So that's the format, easy. Next time, say, I was trying to do it yesterday night, but wo leaderboard and thing poll nahi integrate ho paya. I don't know, some feature. So we'll have to look into that. Next time, say, I'll try to do that. To aur acha lagega, maza aayega. ठीक है. So let's start off. Let me share my thing with you. My document. And here it is. So all geared up, all the best to everybody. And this is not a competition, but rather, take it positively. Good learning experience is what we are trying to give you today with the quiz. So even if you don't know anything, don't worry, at least you learned something today. That is the logic of the quiz. And next quiz may you will be, of course, more excited to learn something. We can even plan ki acha isse kar rahe hain, from something that you have learned. But I like to do random quizzes because usse kya hota hai na, एक तो you come to know new words which you don't know as yet. At the same time आपका revision भी हो जाता है, and it's a fun learning experience. So बाकी तो Shreya also does your quizzes sometimes on your group, I believe. So let's start off. So all the best to everybody, and it's about playing the game, playing the quiz, not winning or losing. But yes, of course, the more corrects you have, it does give you a boost, definitely. So the first word is cogent. And you have to choose the best synonym for the word cogent. You have 4 options: tentative, forced, convincing, and truculent. So 30 seconds for you to think, and then we'll start the discussion. So cogent is the word. You have to find a synonym meaning a similar word. Okay. And so a lot of you have given me the right answer here. Very good. So cogent means, now let's see, cogent means something persuasive, somebody who is trying to convince, or something which is convincing. So this was a cogent reason for me to do something, right? A persuasive, a kind of something that persuaded me to do, a good reason to do something, right? So cogent is that. Now, to convince, to persuade. And so the answer is C, as I think all of you marked. I hope you're not Googling. And and then the answer was convincing, which is to persuade, again, to convince somebody. Truculent means aggressive, angry, related to anger and aggression. So his behavior was truculent, as you could say. And then forced, what it is? Tentative is like, the class will start tentatively at 11:30 or 12, or, so most probably tentative is, like that. So something which is not fully decided yet, is this slightly planned. So that would be tentative. And as I told you, truculent was aggressive, angry, related to that. Okay. So please give yourself a 1. There is no negative marking. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Okay. So as you see, the answer was C in that case. And we come to the next question. So here you have to find the synonym of the word ponderous. The options are contemplative, compact, heavy, and dreamy. Okay. And ponderous, be a little careful. There's a very similar word, but ponderous is something different than that. Don't use the root word here. Okay. So 5 more seconds. Right. So let's see the answers now. So here, now, ponderous is something slow and lumbering and moving very, very slowly. Don't confuse it with the word ponder. Ponder means to think. So a lot of you mark the answer as A, which is to contemplate, to think. So dreamy and contemplative, ये सब ponder से related हो जाएगा. This is all related to ponder. But ponderous is slow and, heavy and difficult. So ponderous steps, lumbering steps. So यहाँ पे heavy is the one which is closest to that. And compact is well packed. It's a compact suitcase. You can just put everything, small things inside it. Contemplative is when you are in deep thought. You're trying to decide whether this or that. Dreamy is when you are in your own world, dream world, right? So yeah, ponder was to think, but ponderous was different. Ponderous, as you can see, is slow and laborious, heavy, or lumbering. Lumbering comes from the word basically, lumbering was the process of breaking down, they were called as lumberjacks, cutting down trees and throwing them in the river so that they come down. It was done in hilly areas. You might have studied in geography. I remember studying about lumberjacks in geography. So that was something which requires a lot of labor. Okay. And so ponderous was related to that, not to ponder. So one new thing we learned. Let's move on. Now here you again have a synonym or meaning. So the word is tenuous. And the options are salubrious, lengthy, delicate, and significant. And please don't forget to give yourself marks. Points rather. Okay. So here, so people are getting a little confused in this. Okay, so salubrious is something which is healthful, tasty, and tenuous is what? Tenuous is something which is thin and delicate. So if it is thin and delicate, then the answer will be what Meenal here is telling us. And Shrihita also said, and Bhavya and Mihir, I think, and Pranjal also, I believe. So yes. So those people gave the right answers. The answer was delicate. Hai na? So here, if you see, I put the meanings also for you. So salubrious is a salubrious meal, like you say. So, healthful, wholesome. And tenuous is very thin, very delicate, as you use the word fragile, fragile, handled with care. So tenuous, you can relate to that. Huh? So, okay. And tenacity, alag word hota hai. Tenacity is related to strength. Like tensile strength se hota hai tenacity. But then that is also very thin. The wire is having tensile strength, but it is very thin. So here, delicate was the answer. Significant, significant means enough. Salubrious, as I told you, full, healthy, wholesome. So salubrious meal or food normally usi sense mein use karte hain hum log. Yes. So Aditya is saying ki please do a direct message because he gets, and I think a lot of people get confused because of the messages that keep coming. So direct message aap kar do mere ko. No issue. So the answer was delicate here. Lengthy, significant, you understand. So C was the answer. Let's move on. So again, you have to find the synonym or the meaning. The word is contrite, and the options are stolid, disheartened, fascist, and apologetic. Okay, contrite. Contrite is something we use. Okay, very good. So getting a lot of right answers here. So the answer was D, as most of you have written, apologetic. Now, contrite is to feel guilty or bad about something, sorry about something. So that is contrite. Whereas stolid is when a person who is, you cannot move that person, a very, very rigid or cannot be moved, impassive, as we say. So that is what is. Disheartened is when you lose hope. And fascist is a person who is, of course, again, a negative word. Fascist is used as an authoritarian, as a dictator. So if you have heard about Mussolini and his concept of fascism, so fascism with a silent C is there. So it's basically means authoritarian regime or a dictatorial regime. So just like Nazi and Hitler were in Germany, Mussolini started the fascism concept in Italy. So that is some learning. Apologetic was your answer because contrite is to feel bad or guilty about something. And stolid is when a person is, very unmovable, impassive, as we say, So that's how you would use it. Okay. So let's move on. All right. So here, now you have to find the synonym of austere. The options are destitute, ostentatious, lavish, and strict. Again, and okay, I can give you a clue here, although people are giving the right answer. So somebody leading an austere life. Okay, you have to find the synonym. So austere. Okay, let's have the answer. So austere is a very strict lifestyle, a very severe or strict or a very basic kind of lifestyle. So an austere, just like, monks are the ascetic. An ascetic is a monk. So an ascetic leads an austere existence. Or if the Prayagraj Mahakumbh is happening, so you see all these akhadas and all, they're very disciplined and live a very simple life. So that is an austere life. So then the answer will be strict. Lavish is, of course, full of wealth and show off and lavish hair. So when you go to the weddings nowadays, it is very lavish. You see so many kinds of foods and decorations. They are full of luxury, opulence, too much of everything. That is lavish. Ostentatious is showy, vulgar, rude, ostentatious remarks. And destitute basically will be a person who is, does not have anything. An orphan or a very poor person will be called as an destitute. Okay. But austere existence is when you choose that existence, that lifestyle. So therefore, it's different from destitute. Destitute is a person who is poor or an orphan who has nothing or nobody to help. Right. So the answer was D, strict. So how many marks? Anybody? So we've done 5, right? Anybody got all 5 or 4? Okay, good. Mihir. So doesn't matter, Akshay. Okay, Aditi also, Ravi. Okay, good. Yeah. See, whatever you got, even if you have not scored up till now, at least we have learned 20-25 new words. So now you know what it is. Okay. इस बार थोड़ा difficult भी हम लाए थे. Next time से I'll maybe get you a simple quiz, but the purpose is to learn, है ना? Okay, moving on. Okay. So again, synonym, the word is egregious. Egregious was used, I don't remember, in the OTT in one serial. The options are obnoxious, toxic, noxious, and flagrant. So you have to see which answer is correct. Egregious. Okay. So the answer, so egregious is something which is outrageous, very bad, very negative. Okay. So something which is bringing out, something which should be scolded. Okay. Now, obnoxious is close, but that is not the right answer because we have the word flagrant. Flagrant basically means when something is inviting a scolding or a tough decision. So you have done a flagrant action, means an action which is egregious, which is, getting asking somebody that, okay, I've done something wrong. So, you have to get scolded because of that action. So then something unpardonable, as we say, maafi ke layak nahi hai, ya something which is, which definitely you will get scolded because of that. So that is egregious. And therefore, flagrant is our answer, which is again, which means something which is really bad, something which is bringing in rebuke or scolding. Now, obnoxious is something which is intolerable. So a person who's very irritating and his behavior is very irritating. It is not something which, you might get scolded about. All right. So that is obnoxious is less than egregious. Okay. Egregious is shockingly bad, as Mihir is saying. And that's correct. Toxic and noxious means something which is toxic in nature, something negative in nature. So this can be about toxins or gases. So like, there's so much of pollution. So it is toxic. Toxic behavior also, or noxious behavior, obnoxious. So toxic, obnoxious, and noxious. They are all actually, in a way, similar in intensity. Means they are also bad words. All the 4 options are negative in this case. So elimination was difficult. But flagrant was the high level of negative, which means something which cannot be excused, something which has to be checked or disciplined or scolded or punished, something which is inviting punishment. So that was egregious and flagrant, both. Whereas obnoxious, toxic, and noxious were negative, but not so much of that level. So इस case में degree of synonyms की बात हो जाती है ना. I told you in fill in the blanks also कि you have to see कि which degree of word is needed. If flagrant was not there, then maybe we could have considered then, but then in that case, all of the 3 were similar. Although toxic and noxious are, used in senses of, mostly in sense of something which is poisonous in nature. So toxic gases or toxins which are there in the body, etc. And obnoxious is used in the sense of behavior. But article in common language, we also say toxic person and all that. But normally the literal meaning is related to poison. So therefore, we are not using those options. We will go with flagrant. Okay, let's move on. So again, we are looking at a synonym. The word is assiduous, and the options are painstaking, diligent, pedantic, and cursory. This is easy, easier than the others. Options are close. Okay, so two options are very close in this. Be careful. Huh? So we say an assiduous worker. We use as assiduous worker. So then means a very hard worker, right? So assiduity or assiduous worker, very hard worker. Now hard working. Painstaking क्या होता है? They are efforts, painstaking efforts you are taking. You are taking a lot of pains to do something. But that does not mean that you are a hard working. Maybe in this case, you are taking efforts which are painstaking. But what kind of a worker are you? Are you a hard worker? That we don't know. So efforts needed might be painstaking, but if you are always a hard worker, then you will be called as a diligent worker or a assiduous worker. Okay, a very thorough person in his or her work culture, work style. So then we would use the word assiduous or diligent, and therefore painstaking is not the answer. Whereas cursory means random. You made a cursory remark, or you just looked at the book in a cursory manner, means you just went through it, flipped through it. So random flipping and not being very focused on something, that is cursory. And pedantic is when a person is too much concerned with details of something, rules of something, or details of something, then that is called as a pedantic character. Okay. So assiduous worker, diligent worker. Painstaking के साथ efforts use होगा. Okay, painstaking worker नहीं होगा. Painstaking आपका action होगा. And here assiduous is a person. So it's an adjective which is describing a person, right? And diligent is also in that case. So therefore, painstaking was given as a confusing option. But if you were choosing that, then at least you were on the right track. You were thinking in the right direction. All right, moving to the next word. Yeah, Ravi, you got it right. That's very good. Okay. So convivial, the options are terse, laconic, excited, and genial. So convivial, easy again, not too difficult. Can be pronounced both as convivial and convivial. So convivial is friendly, somebody who is friendly in their behavior. Okay. And so friendly behavior, the word is genial. Genial comes from the word congenial, congeniality, right? So congenial is also friendly and very social. And convivial is also very friendly, social, and nice behavior. Amicable, as we say, amicable, convivial, genial. Yes, they are all synonyms. Excited, though, you can be for anything. If you're very happy or excited, that does not mean you are a very friendly person. And laconic and terse means you are using very few words to convey your thoughts or expressions. So then you are laconic, speaking less, and terse means using very few words. Just yes or no. Opposite iska kya hota hai? A very highly talkative person, loquacious is talkative, and laconic is very speaking very less. So A and B are speaking very less. Yeah, laconic can be related to introvert also, Raga. Sometimes people who are introvert in nature speak less. So it depends on person to person. But if a person is introvert and that person has to be a teacher, so that person has to speak. Uh, but yeah, maybe using less words. So less words usage is the exact meaning, can be used for an introvert person or a shy person also. Yes. And terse is absolute, only yes, no, very, very few words. Okay. So the answer was genial for convivial. Let's move on. So again, a synonym, the word is ebullient, and the options are distraught, seditious, lively, or irascible. Okay. And so, ebullient. So, ebullient is what? Ebullient is again full of life, very excited, lively person. So, that is ebullient. And in this case, then what can we keep as the answer? Now, distraught is very, very sad, right? Somebody who is very sad is distraught with what has happened, very upset, very sad. So that can't be our answer. Now, seditious is something which is arousing action, negative action. So sedition, access. So when you are, trying to force somebody to go against the government or arouse to war or something like that. So that is being disloyal. So that is, or unpatriotic. That is seditious behavior or seditious action. Lively is full of life, again, very excited, full of life, which is related to ebullient. So, lively can be our answer. And the word irascible is somebody who has a bad temper, somebody who's always very angry and, upset. So, that is irascible behavior. So, angry person. And distraught is very sad. Like some people, in the stampede, as we were talking of the Mahakumbh, they lost their lives. So they lost their dear ones. So they were very upset, very sad, very distraught. That is what it means, Akshay. Okay. Right. So the answer was lively. Let's move on. Okay. So again, we have to find the synonym. The word is fastidious, and the options are endemic, ambivalent, meticulous, and insouciant. Okay, this one is easy. Yes, most of you are getting it right. Very good. So fastidious behavior is what? Somebody who is very, very careful in what they do. They put their things at the right places. Very meticulous, very methodical. So methodical, fastidious, meticulous. These three are synonyms. Very methodical, very careful how they do things. They keep their things very nicely. Opposite will be clumsy. Okay. So fastidious, methodical, or meticulous. So the answer was meticulous. Whereas endemic, a disease which has spread in the whole area, just like a pandemic and an endemic. So there's a group of people who are affected with something. So then it is a endemic, right? So, and when it spreads all over, then it becomes a pandemic. Pan means all over, just like panorama, So endemic is when it's confined to a group or community and it has spread in that community, then it is endemic. So mostly used for diseases, etc. Ambivalent, when you are, and tell me what is ambivalent. Ambivalent is, you know what is ambivalent, tell me. When you are uncertain, yeah, mixed feelings, okay, right. So ambivalent is when you have mixed feelings, you are uncertain about something, like ye bhi ho sakta hai, wo bhi ho sakta hai, then you are ambi always means two, right? Ambidextrous means you can use both hands properly. So ambivalent when you are unsure about something, okay. And insouciant, now insouciant is somebody who is very rude, so used for a child, etc. Somebody who's very rude in their manners, etc., and speak very badly. So insouciant behavior. Okay. Fastidious and pedantic sometimes can be used as, but see, fastidious is more of keeping your things properly, meticulous, very organized, very methodical. Whereas pedantic is very much into rules, regulations of things. So a pedantic person can be fastidious, but a fastidious person is always not pedantic. ये तो वो जो रूल्स, मतलब क्लासिकल रूल्स, जैसे अब कोई ग्रामर के रूल्स को बहुत फॉलो कर रहा है, देन दैट पर्सन इज पेडेंटिक. बट वो जरूरी नहीं कि दैट पर्सन इज कीपिंग हिज सामान एंड थिंग्स वेरी प्रॉपरली. दैट पर्सन इज फेस्टिडियस. सो पेडेंटिक हो सकता है, फेस्टिडियस हो, बट जरूरी नहीं कि एवरी पर्सन हु इज वेरी मेथोडिकल एंड प्रॉपरली डूइंग थिंग्स does not mean कि always they are getting into the rules of everything or the root of everything. So they can be synonyms, but not always, depending on the situation. Okay, let's move on. So again, now you have to find the antonym. See, so you have to read the directions very carefully. So you have to find the antonyms. And the word is surreptitious, and you have to find the opposite meaning. The options are venerable, tricky, clandestine, and artless. And you have to find the opposite word, surreptitious. Insouciant is rude, Pranjal. Rude, badly behaved, so then. Okay, so this one became a little difficult. Now the word surreptitious means somebody who is very, doing something very quietly and very smartly. All right. So clandestine is a synonym of surreptitious. So that person who is doing something in secret, in hiding, that is what is surreptitious or clandestine. So surreptitious behavior, very, very secretive and very, behaving very in a shrewd manner and secretly. And in this case, so opposite will be a person who is simple and not trying to hide anything, right? Now, venerable person is what? Venerable is slightly here, venerable will be, tricky is again similar. Tricky is not secretive, but tricky is smart, definitely. Now, venerable is used for a person who is very honored, right? So here, zaruri nahi ki anybody who's doing something in hiding is a dishonorable person. So honor से related नहीं है. Venerable is an honored person, respected person. Here we are talking about behavior, right? Whereas the word artless is a person who is very frank, not able to hide anything. All right. So then we would go with artless instead of venerable. Although in the first, at first, venerable seems like a good option because we always think that surreptitious or clandestine is a negative word. But actually, these words are not negative. They may be used either negatively or positively. So the freedom fighters were surreptitiously having clandestine meetings or clandestine meetings. So in this case, freedom fighters are not bad people, right? So in that case, opposite will not be honorable. So everybody who is surreptitious in their actions are not dishonorable people. But opposite can be a person who's not able to hide anything. A person who is very simple, open, artless means, so artless, ऐसे सुनने में अच्छा नहीं लगता है word. We normally don't use it. But that's the exact synonym in this case. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. So again, we have to find the antonyms. So the word is turbid, and the options are transparent, bemused, muddled, and so in this case, let's show you. Turbid is the word. The options are transparent, bemused, muddled, and auspicious. This one was easy. You have to find the opposite word, antonym. So the waters are what? The water can be either muddy. So if it is muddy or, not so transparent, it will be called as turbid. Just like lime water turns milky, when carbon dioxide passes through it. So it becomes turbid. You studied your chemistry, if you remember. Lime water turns milky when carbon dioxide passes. So that is what is turbidity. Okay, turgid is something different. Turgid. Turgid is when something is fat and full of water. So, turgid fruits, which is very fleshy and full of water. That's different. That's turgid. Turbid is when something is muddy and not transparent and used for liquids. So, opposite will be something which is clear. So, clear means transparent. Okay, bemused means amused. All right, so you are entertained, you are bemused. So a small child is making some actions and you are just entertained, amused. So you are bemused. And muddled is when you are confused. So you might be muddled with the words. So puzzled, muddled. And auspicious is something which is a good day, like today and tomorrow we are celebrating Saraswati Puja, Vasant Panchami. So it's a good day, it's an auspicious day, it's a lucky day. So that is auspicious. Okay. So thank you, Swati. So now I'm getting old and forgetting all my subjects, but yeah, some things I still remember. So turbid ka answer was transparent, opposite. And synonym would be something which is muddy or unclear or, not very transparent. Right. So we have time. Let's do. So scores, please. We have not had the scores. I hope everybody has opened their account. And scores? Okay. 4, 3, 3, 5. Okay. 5, 1, 9. Oh, 9. Who is 9? Wow. Palak is 9. Meher is 9. That's good. That's very good. But I think everybody has at least 1 mark. So it's even if it is 1, 2, even if it's 0, I am so happy that you came to class. That was important, taking the effort to come and learn is the most important. That's the purpose of the class. Winning, losing is, Shrihita, you also got 9. Very good. So winning, losing is part of the game, but showing up is important. Yes, Ravi. Showing up is very important. Okay, antonym again. So the word is ingenious, and the options are shady, bucolic, candid, and frank. And you have to use you have to choose an antonym. Ingenuous. Ingenuous is the word. Okay, so what does ingenuous mean? Now you tell me. This is something ingenuity, ingenuous. We use these words, no? So the meaning of ingenuous is what? It's frank, right? So it's frank. Candid also means frank. Okay, so frank and candid are actually synonyms of the word ingenuous. So he's a very ingenuous person. He's very frank, very open, very candid. He gave a candid remark. You know, we always use this word for candid remark. So means, or he was very candid in his actions or approach, means very open-minded. So frank and candid. Now we've got only two options left, shady and bucolic. Bucolic is somebody who's very bad natured, comes from the word colic. You know what colic is? Colic is pain, pain in the stomach mostly. And as children, most of us had colic pain, pain in the stomach because of indigestion or something. Children have a lot of colic pain. So bucolic, bad temper, irritable, that kind of word is bucolic. Whereas shady is somebody who is very secretive, very not open, not frank. So the answer will not be bucolic. The answer will be shady. Okay. Bucolic can also be used to, be used with actually pastoral. So pastoral related to agriculture. So bucolic is related to that. In fact, jada jo usage hai, that is related to pastoral, etc. So that will be related to pastoral or the countryside. So that is bucolic. Before going to school, yes, everybody had stomach pain, but that was colic. That was colic. And bucolic yahan pe is related to grassland, pastures, agriculture, countryside se related hai. ठीक है. So countryside से related है bucolic. And shady is अब देखो, एक तो shady trees भी हो सकता है. And shady person means somebody who's not open, somebody who's hiding something, suspicious personality is a shady person. So frank, यहाँ पे ingenuous का opposite shady ही होगा, not bucolic. Bucolic is mostly a pastoral person. So not bad tempered, sorry. It was related to agriculture, pastoral. And colic was related to pain. वो different था. So answer was shady here. And let's move to the next word, germane. Germane, and the options are relevant, bias, tangential, and alien. Opposite word, you have to choose the antonym. Germane. Opposite word you have to choose. So germane is what? Germane is something which is relevant, something which is appropriate, relevant. So that is germane. All right, so this is relevant for the class. This is germane. So opposite relevant, agar to A to synonym. Bias is when you have some negative idea about something. So you are biased. And tangential is when you are not directly saying you are, guma firake, off the cuff, you are trying to say something very tangential explanation or very tangential remarks, means you are not correctly doing something. You are doing things sideways or not exactly as it should be. So then it will be tangential. Okay, just like a tangent is not, there. So in that case, it's not directly there. So indirectly, when you're doing something tangential, and germane is something which is appropriate, relevant. So tangential in this case. Whereas alien is something which is a person normally, and alien is somebody who is a stranger, somebody who's unknown. So germane is relevant, appropriate, correct. Tangential is something which is guma firake, indirect, not directly, not appropriate. So tangential is the answer. Alien is unknown. So unknown to cannot be the opposite of germane. And aliens normally we say it is an alien concept also, but normally for people we say there's an alien, ya phir outer space we have. Aliens are also strangers, of course. Bias is that negative feeling. So answer was tangential. Okay. So this is important for your non-cats basically. And because you get word level questions. Okay. Again, we have come back to synonyms. So maybe 2-3 more words we'll do for today. So habitual. And you have to choose the synonym, meaning similar word, patriarchal, young, puerile, and inveterate. Habitual. Habitual, to everybody knows what habitual is. Now here, if you knew the meanings of the other words, you could take an intelligent guess also. So if you take an intelligent guess, you will find the answer. Because the other words are quite common. Okay. So habitual is something which you do as a habit. So that is habitual. Now, patriarchal comes from the word patri and archi. Archi is a rule, and patri is related to father. So, rule of the eldest male member, or where there is a male dominated society, that is called as a patriarchal society. And opposite is a matriarchal society, matriarchy, whereas the female dominated society, where the eldest female member is the head of the family. Here, the eldest male member is head of the family. Now, young, you know what young means. No, somebody who's not old is young. Okay, a child, somebody who's young. Right. And puerile is what? Puerile is also related to somebody who is young, right? Or somebody that is childlike, like a child. So puerile, innocent, childlike, young. So puerile and young actually are synonyms. Whereas inveterate behavior means you habitually do something again and again. That is your inveterate behavior or inveterate action, means you always do that. So a habitual doer. He's an inveterate criminal, means he is a habitual criminal. Yeah, inveterate thief also, you can say, somebody who steals things. So all the time, you always know. So it's his habit. So actually the answer was inveterate. So that's why I said that all the other words are simple. One word is complicated, and that is your answer. So you could have guessed this also. Because patriarchal we know, young we know, puerile bhi thoda suna hua hi hai. So, but inveterate was habitual. Okay. And good. Those who guessed correctly is also good. Sometimes, when you know a lot of words, then sometimes intelligent guesses also work by elimination in this case. Okay. Now, again, synonyms for you. Solemnity is the word. Lightheartedness, gravity, diligence, and sleepiness. Now, diligence we have already done today. So you know what diligence is. So be careful. People are getting confused. This is a synonym that you have to choose. Solemn. Solemnity comes from the word solemn. And solemn is what? Solemn is serious. It's a solemn ceremony. Maybe you are going to somebody's funeral or death ceremony. That is a serious ceremony, right? So solemnity is related to seriousness, serious ceremony. Light-hearted is full of fun, light-hearted joy and happiness, right? So light-hearted is like joke and all. So then you can't say that. Gravity is again serious. He has gravity of behavior. He has a lot of gravity in his behavior. Means he is very serious and dignified, in his behavior. So gravity is related to seriousness little bit. Diligence is hard work. We have already done. है ना? Solemnly swear. Yes. Solemn ceremony. Solemnly you, yes, take a oath. Solemn oath. You make a promise. है ना? So gravity is also related to seriousness, etc. Gravity of the situation. Seriousness of the situation. And solemn is also related to seriousness. Diligence is hard work. And sleepiness, you might be feeling sleepy after the class. Too much of vocabulary for you. Okay. So sleepiness is again something different in this case. All right. So solemn, the answer was gravity. Means something serious. So as many people were writing light-heartedness. I got a little scared why you're writing that. Anna, this light-hearted behavior is fun behavior. Solemn is very serious, solemn ceremony. Okay, so we do one more before we end. Is everybody, or you want a 5-minute break before the next class? Your next class is from 12:40, your last session for today. So tell me the scores quickly. You want to do one more? Okay, take a break then. People are saying, okay. So some people are saying one more, some people are saying break. Okay, a lot of people are saying break. Take a break and drink something, eat something. है ना? Okay, one more last. ठीक है, चलो. Repellent का opposite. This everybody knows, huh? Repellent is opposite to attractive, gracious, amicable, yeah, beneficial. Quickly, है ना? And then we'll end. So repellent is, of course, repellent is when you are unattractive, you put off people. Attractive is when you attract. So unattractive is repellent. Attractive is attractive, Gracious is very good mannered and, pleasant. Amicable is friendly. Beneficial is something that gives you benefit. Attractive is the answer. And we end today on attractive and repellent. Okay. So A was the answer here. 8 rights is good. Anybody more than 9? Because we already had 9. So final scores quickly. So I hope you enjoyed, Hannah. 13 for Mihir. That's good. Palak is 10. Very good. More than 9, Shrihita. Theek hai, chalega. Good. 7 is also good. 6 is also very good. Doesn't matter. Very nice. So we did around. I hope you enjoyed and you learned also. Right? We have. Yeah. Yes, you can unmute and say.
Yeah, it was very good, interactive.
Thank you so much.
Amazing
next
session.
time,
I enjoyed very well.
Thank you. And do share in the group also, Hannah. And we will be having more of these Magic Sundays because this is something fun and learning. That is what we want. Next time, so I'll try to get the poll. तो उसमें और मजा आएगा, सबका scores भी आ जाएगा, है ना? If I can do that. Right. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, I have a query.
Yeah.
In the site, we have that 45 days booster course, right? Which you have suggested. In what order should I go? Because there are 3 sections. One is RC, one is vocab. So should I do like 1 RC, 1 vocab, something like that? Or should I
you
do
can
it?
You can do that. If you have started your comprehension, so what you can do, start the scale wala videos. Scale videos, I have sent a voice note on your interaction with Meenakshi ma'am. You are there on the group, na?
Yes.
So usme I have sent a voice note. In that I have told you what to do. So what you can do, scale pe bhi we have uploaded the same thing for your work for school level, basic level. So you can do the 45 days ka. Once you are comfortable with the vocabulary, you can start solving vocabulary, and side by side you are doing your reading skills, etc. Right? So you can start with your रीडिंग स्किल्स वाला वर्क इन द 45 days से करो या स्केल वाले से करो, इट्स द सेम थिंग, ठीक है ना. बट सी द वीडियोस, द रीडिंग स्किल्स, मेन आइडिया फॉर सेंटेंस लेवल, फॉर पैराग्राफ लेवल एंड फॉर पैसेज लेवल, ठीक है ना. So once you see this, then you can start doing both together. So one day alternately, two exercises. That's more than
Ma'am, the scale thing is something entirely separate.
what scale
Yes.
is. See, we have integrated mine and Sharma sir's courses into the school. That is, we call it school because it's basic. So learning from basics. Then is the core, which is like your how to read, introduction to comprehension, and introduction to all the basic theory chapters, and a little bit of practice. And then will be advanced, and then learning from the exam questions and the this exam ready, which is having the mocks, etc. So that is part of your thing, but that is mostly recorded with the this. So it is self-paced, and this part, of course, Mindworks is live. Plus, you get the recording part also. So you can pick and choose which live sessions you want, but the scale ka school and core, that everybody has to do, because that is your basic thing. So
Okay, ma'am, one help, maybe after the session, if you're free,
Yeah,
can
yeah,
you
you can
just
talk.
give me the link for the scale course?
So,
I kind of like I
talk-
missed out on that.
okay, talk to Sanjita. Sanjita has it.
Oh,
You are
thank
enrolled, no? So
yes,
you,
yes.
yeah. So you have Sanjita will give you access. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
right. Yeah. So others can take a break, है ना?
Ma'am,
I
had
will
a
just
doubt.
stop the recording. Vinay, are you there? No, he's not there. Okay. So Pranjal, you can start. Yes, 2 per day is good enough. Yes. And you have to start your solving from the starters pack, either if you have access, or from the school. Maybe we have uploaded the same thing, scale thing. So starters pack is there, so you can start from there. Okay. Right. And if you have any queries, you can ask in the group. Just tag me and ask. I'll help you out with all the solving processes. Right. So I will just stop the recording.
Ma'am, I had a doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, like as you have mentioned, like while reading comprehension, infer